then I mean we can technically currently not... How did I just... No! How did I get stuck here? Oh boy. That was a bit of a lunge upwards. Alright everyone, hello and welcome back to another episode on Scrap Mechanic with me, Spacefish, and welcome back to our half-destroyed farm and our still somewhat intact base with our still somewhat intact vehicles. So, well, last episode we started rebuilding the farm that was so, well, hardcore wrecked by some hay bots that I had absolutely forgotten were headed for it in the prior episode. And well, we've already got some basic things back up and going, and I've already harvested the first little bit of a harvest. We've got a few potatoes back in our inventory to be able to shoot at things again. We've got a few tomatoes, which I've already made a few of those into burgers, and the second one is already ready and waiting for me here too. So, you know, we've got a few basic needs taken care of again, but the farm is still far from actually fixed. Now, the thing is, honestly, I really do not feel like taking on logic stuff today. So we're probably going to be skipping farm day for once. We're going to get back to it probably next episode. Bartle, I think, already has somewhat suggested a new system for the farm watering where we probably don't even need half of the components we used to use in this. So, you know, that will be an improvement, and I'm going to be looking into that for then. But for today, you know, we're going to probably just be doing something other than logic, being that we will get back to good old vehicle building. I've got a lot of wood stacked up here that we will be using on this very vehicle, hopefully having some fun with that. If and when we do run out of those, we certainly have some POIs to go to as well, which we haven't done in God knows how long, which would also give us some, you know, new food and other things alongside that we could most certainly use, a few component kits and all, so nothing really there to complain about either, would all be quite useful to us. And there is also a third thing which we're going to be taking care of at the very start here. But just very quickly, before we get right into the video then, if you're new around here and you will enjoy this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. That would help out a ton. We're trying to hit 1k subscribers by the end of the year. So, well, every single one is going to help out a lot. And of course, make sure to hit that like button as well while you're at it. That said though, the first thing that I want to be taking care of is this very thing. We did this, I think, also 2 or maybe 3 episodes ago, where we finally got like a bit of a crafting circle here going based on Spastic Cube's suggestion, and it was working quite nicely until I picked this chest apart from the machine, and now it's not feeding properly into the machine anymore. So we are first and foremost looking to hopefully fix that by, as was pointed out very nicely by all of you in the comments down below, so thanks very much for that, just pointing at this well, port with the chest, and as you can see, that kind of should attach it to the port. Let's hope that actually works now with that connected. We will actually do that again, because I want this thing properly aligned, most certainly. No, not upside down necessarily. More like this. So that's the way we want to have it placed down. And let's just go and test something with it, which, well, whatever the something is supposed to be. We technically do need a new controller one way or another, I'm quite sure. So given that we've got everything, including the one remaining component kit that we need, well, actually more than that, we can probably get that underway then. And, well, we will see, I suppose, if that's going to turn up in there. I hope it is, because if not, you know, I'm not quite sure what to do. Now, what we also sort of want, I think it was based on the suggestion by Spastic Cube, not entirely sure anymore, but 99% sure, so thanks very much to you, or whoever else suggested that. We're going to go and make a little bit of a crafting loop, which sounds absolutely awesome to me, where basically we connect this chest with that chest, and while that doesn't instantly send like all the things that we have got in this chest over to that one, what that means is that the production bot can not only access the stuff in this chest, but also the stuff in that chest, which means if we have some more advanced products going, such as, you know, first things first, making wood blocks, and then based off of that, making the more advanced wood blocks, that'll be very nice and easy, and I don't have to constantly move things back and forth. And great news, you can see it actually got delivered. I think what actually changed here, by the way, is that we have this icon. So I think there's even a visual change here in the crafting menu if it works. But yeah, that absolutely fixed it for me. So thank you very much for the suggestion and for letting me know that that works, everyone. That helped a ton. So, what we do want then is going to be a bit of a pipe system just like that. I'm going to kind of have to find out how many of the straight pipes we're going to need. We're going to most certainly need 2 of the bent pipes, and we're also going to need some more metal blocks, because as you can very evidently see, we're somewhat out of those, but we do have a bit more scrap metal, and I suppose that we could even stock up on a bit more, given... Oh, we've got this case out here still to clear up. So let's maybe just quickly go and collect all that so that the refiner can already work away at, you know, nicely getting us some more supplies of scrap metal for the very near future. I have honestly got to say, I don't think I've actually used my miner for actual mining in absolute ages. Just due to the sheer supply of scrap metal I'm getting due to constantly farming like pineapples and stuff. Very crazy. The thing is, that's of course eventually going to die down when I don't need the pineapples anymore, and the only thing I'm going to be farming is like a bunch of potatoes and maybe some food for myself. But for the time being, you know, that's absolutely just very nicely supplementing the flow of metal. And given that I don't have the craziest metal-reliant builds going on at the moment either, it's going very nicely in terms of that. That said, this stuff is all almost nearly done, and due to us having all that water in there, that's also very beautifully going to work. And this is kind of what I mean with putting things from left to right, because we do, of course, somewhat have to move things like that, which isn't always quite all too nice and easy to do. So, you know, that is going to be a very nice quality of life change when we get this thing done. Now, what we then want is, of course, a bunch of these. We are somewhat running low on electronic circuits. I'm kind of wondering where I had to put the rest of them here. You know, just running short on electronic circuits in there, of course. Evidently got quite a few still in the backhand that we can very nicely toss into that. Now, we're going to go and require some more metal as well, most certainly. But let's get slowly started on this part out here, I suppose. Just going to grab all these, and then we're going to see how long these pipes are for a start. I'm feeling that we're probably going to require 2. The curved pipe is quite short, which is good news, I would say. So, you know, we're hopefully not going to glitch through the roof. But we do need to go across this guy's head, which, of course, he's still turned the wrong way around due to space constraints, unfortunately. But, yeah, we will most certainly need more. Now, we do have 1 more for the time being, at the very least. So that's something, and we have got some more stuff out here that we can redistribute back into here. And hopefully we will, in just 1 second, not have to do that anymore when we have made another 2 of these pipes. Now, how I'm actually going to plonk that down up here, we're going to have to say, probably just going to get myself on my lift. And then we're going to go, wee! Nice. And get a nice pipe going up and around here. I hope that that's not in the way. It kind of looks as though it will be. And also, I'm actually going to need even more straight pipes, because of course we need to kind of traverse this space right here. Speaking of which, we have seemingly run out of glass, which means that we will need to make some more sand blocks, I think, right? Let me double check that. Where's the glass at? That's the glass. Oh yeah, okay. We'll have to make some more sand blocks to go and get a bit further on that side of things. To be fair, we may as well just make a bunch, because, you know, we can just prep some glass for future use, and you can very nicely see that this ginormous thing is absolutely in the way, which kind of sucks, because while it doesn't make sense that it's stuck up there, I somewhat like the placement now. I guess it's more above the cookpot's head. So that's the way that that's going to work. We're going to go and pull this out right here, And another kind of crucial thing is going to have to be that this is actually going to work in terms of pipe length. Uh-oh. Is there shorter pipes in this game? Can I shorten pipes in this game? This is not good. This is less than ideal. I'm currently kind of wondering, like, if I put another straight pipe onto this, I'm quite sure that we're past this upper port. So, yeah. Not quite sure how we're going to do that, to be fair. I mean, we can test if that is actually the case, but I'm quite convinced that it will be. And I'm also quite sorry. And I'm also quite convinced we're running out of space in that chest. But we'll be making a good bunch of glass here now. And we will just test... What? How's this one short now? Oh, look at this! Wait, we don't even need that many. Oh my god, I had no idea that you can lengthen or shorten these. That is incredible. For anybody that's wondering, I'm just holding shift and scrolling with my mouse wheel. We can so save on a bunch of these tubes, can't we? Wait, we gotta pull all of this apart. I mean, we may as well reuse these tubes for something else another day then. Unless, of course, that happens. We're totally out. But, you know... Oh no, that is the longest length that we had going for us there, I think. So, yeah, okay. We can't reuse them, unfortunately, but as you can evidently see... you can actually shorten those if you need to, which is beautiful. I mean, very helpful and necessary as well, most certainly. Cannot do anything with these except for... Oh, wait, so can I just Q and E these as well to... Oh, okay, so it's literally scrolling with shift or just, you know, hitting Q and E. Which is cool, and apparently it also kind of automatically adjusted itself to our needs because it kind of registered there was a port below here, so... It's very nice, I have to say. That's working quite nicely and flawlessly, and yeah, unexpectedly trouble-free. So we will need another 2 pipes then, I suppose, which we will need the glass for first. Let's go and put that back into here, and let's go and make one more of these because we're still low on tier 2 metal. Wow. But yeah, so that seems to be working quite fine for us then. I'm going to just quickly go and munch away at a burger because we're already running out of hydration again, which is quite insane. But we've been actually tinkering along at this quite a few minutes now. I hadn't quite expected this to be taking that long. But it is what it is, I suppose. We cannot collect that anymore. But once this connection is done, we will hopefully not have to worry about this moving stuff anymore, because yeah, absolutely great suggestion. Thank you so much once more for that, because honestly I think this would have driven me quite insane quite quickly, actually just going back and forth and moving things back and forth all the time. It's quite annoying. I mean, you know, it would have still been better than anything else, but I think you get the point. Now the question being how long we need to make this exactly. I feel like this is the length. Nope, it isn't. Even shorter. That, I guess, is what we want. Nope. Please tell me there is a length that actually works for us. Oh great, there isn't. You've got to be trolling me, right? What is happening now? That's just unacceptable, like... Let's try that, maybe? Oh, maybe it is because I've already closed off the port. That doesn't auto-snap to the length that I require. No, you can see it doesn't kind of snap to the length that I require anymore at all. Which really sort of sucks. I don't know, I mean this does not look like it's aligned, does it? Let's go and grab the last pipe. I'm quite convinced that this is not aligned. Maybe it is. And I'm just like blind to something. Can we... Boom! Okay, that was way more aligned than I thought it was. I don't know why I thought it looked off, but that's now connected. So technically, right, we've got like 10 sand in here. We've got no sand in there, so we should still be able to make glass. Let's see if that works. It does. Beautiful. So no more running back and forth between things. I think that's a great, great advancement. Thanks so much for that suggestion. 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend. But okay, so with all that tinkering out of the way now and the shotgun back in our inventory as well as the blocks and the food, let's go and actually get back to vehicle design for a bit. Just tinker along with things to our liking. So first thing I think I'm actually going to work on here is actually completing these wheel wells, because that's been kind of put off for the longest time due to material shortages, but now with all those extra blocks, I guess we can at least start by completing those and then sort of just move on from there. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing. And then we're going to have to see. I mean, overall, the thing that I'm still not quite sure about is how I'm going to be wanting to design this middle part. Because, I mean, we've got this sort of safety cell here in the middle for the more viable, or well, for the more important parts of this vehicle, which, quite frankly, we should probably also be extending upwards a tad bit to actually make sure that it does provide some safety to these components and doesn't leave them exposed. I'm not sure if I want to widen it past that, and if I do that, what I want to do with that area, to be honest. We could, technically, potentially, just make space for another 2 collectors here. I'm not sure if that's wide enough, but, you know, just have, like, some 2 empty collectors riding along with this thing, and basically when these 2 front ones just get filled up, we swap them through. Maybe that's an idea. But I'm not really quite sure on that yet, so, you know, if you have any input, let me know down below, and we'll just kind of see as we go with this vehicle what we're going to do with that, and, you know, just bounce around the block a bit. But overall, first things first, we're going to go and finish the base outline of this vehicle off a bit more. I mean, it's also going to give us a bit more of an idea, I suppose, in terms of the weight of the vehicle and the very end. You know, the more blocks you push into this, the heavier this will get, which also is kind of going to offset the balance again. So we're going to also have to see in terms of how we adjust this huge concrete block that is extendable back there, if we adjust that block at all, what we do with that in general, you know. And I mean, the more we kind of get to a final design sort of stage, the more we will have an idea about that, I suppose. Now, what we most evidently intended to be doing here is closing this off like that. So, done that. I definitely don't like that it's totally empty here, so maybe we can just design this as a sort of shelf and a step to step on for the time being. I mean, we could try and just fit a collector in there and see if it even works in terms of space. Should have a... oh yeah, the spare I have lying around is kind of in here. I need to make even more collectors, by the way. I was intending for 2 to be on this vehicle. We have 2 on that vehicle. And I would always like to have one empty one, basically, at the resource thingy. So we definitely already need 1 more. And if we go through with this plan of having some extras, you know... doesn't seem to work, though. Yeah, I mean, you can see that, well, kind of requires more space than we have on there, unfortunately. So I'm not quite sure how to use that. Maybe it's just going to kind of stay a design aspect of this thing that we need to work with somehow. That's not going to really be any useful space. I mean, the good thing is it makes getting onto the vehicle a lot easier, so... that's a start, but it also, of course, makes getting onto the vehicle for the odd spots a lot easier. So, you know, something to keep in mind there, most certainly. Now, we do have our control unit up here with space for the buttons. And we then have something out here. Not quite sure what that something's supposed to be, because quite frankly, I've never really finished this off. So, I have to sort of... see and tinker with this a bit. I do not really want to have an overhang here like that, I have to say. So overall, I would kind of want to be closing this off, which I guess isn't terabad. Does mean, though, that I... Where did I just remove a block from? Was that here? Oh, God. We're under the vehicle at this point. May get stuck at any point, just saying. But yeah, so what I'm thinking is I could technically remove parts of the structure here. Save out on a bit of weight and materials. Now, the thing is, okay, the wheel well back there, we kind of have it going anyway, so... Okay. But yeah, so, I mean, the collector, I think, is already somewhat well in its place overall. Could just extend the holding part for the collector out a bit. Now, in terms of the shape of the holding part, this is technically the center of it, isn't it? Oh, we're out. Okay. That was quicker than I anticipated. But this being the center of it, I would kind of argue that you would probably want to remove parts on the left here. Now, the thing is, if you remove parts on the left, you need to kind of extend the holding structure. So, like, the middle of the holding structure has to be here somewhat. Which means... then, I mean, we can technically currently not... How did I just... No! How did I get stuck here? Oh, boy. That was a bit of a lunge upwards. But yeah, so technically we kind of have to move the holding structure over there first, which I suppose we've now sort of done, right? We can, yeah, get rid of that without that tearing off, I hope. Getting stuck on those edges. And then, I mean, we need to fill this in somewhat. But yeah, so this would be... not the center of the holding structure, but part of the holding structure. And where did I say the center of this thing was? There is technically no center, is there? I mean, this has like a shared middle point, right? So like the center would be right here. So if we just have like these two struts as a holding structure, basically, and we replicate the same thing over there, I think that would already finish off the design in terms of the holding part, like the collecting part of the vehicle. And then we will need to go and design the actual sawing part up front, I suppose. Now, that is kind of that. I do think we very much need upgrades to the springs still, because, yeah, you can see here, these are actually compressed already, which, is without the saws and without the huge construct that we have to have up front. So, like, these need to be maxed out. Level 5, I guess level 5 is always the max, right? So, gonna need another 16 component kits here. Potentially another level on the back suspension as well, as we will probably have to eventually upgrade the back concrete block here a bit to even more equalize for the weight that we've got going up front. I mean... I'm kind of worried about the piston thing snapping off, but I guess that's technically nothing that can really happen in this game. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So, like, the sag is somewhat concerning, I would say, but, you know, the mechanism itself, I would argue, very much works for the time being. You can see just how much this props up the front and how much it balances out the vehicle. Now, the thing is, if we have a whole tree in that thing, there's going to be a lot more weight that we're going to need on the back and the general vehicle. So, I think... we're going to inevitably end up extending that further. But overall, I have a feeling that that concept does work for us. So, okay. We're going to need some more wood to continue on this build. So, we're going to have to do that in another episode. Which probably is not going to be the next one. Because, as I said, we're going to get back to the farm rebuild and the logic, at least. Eventually, also probably adding a farm defense system to that. As once or twice or... 3 times, you know, every now and again suggest in the comments that probably should get back to doing that now, especially after what happened to us there. And, well, then once we're more, well, further advanced with that, we'll probably go do some more POIs for some component kits and also have some more materials to continue building this thing, build the other collector holder, start work on the whole saw thing, and then eventually you hopefully also get to usable state. Because, you know, in terms of design, I would say it's in a state where we could already drive off with it and do things we're just kind of missing. the collector attachment being done and the whole sewing part up front being designed. So a bunch more work to be done there, but I'm very much hopeful and looking forward to that. For today, though, I'm going to have to end this episode off right here, so I hope you all very much enjoyed it. As usual, if you did, please make sure to hit that like button down below. That does always help out the channel a ton. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also please consider subscribing right down below, as well as hitting that bell icon in order to stay up to date with all the future upcoming episodes. With all that out of the way, though, as usual, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next episode very, very soon. Ciao.